No, we know that the paper have been conducting their own internal investigation, or the Management and Standards Committee, which was put in by the New York company to investigate. And the evidence that they have uncovered has been given to the police. There are allegations it involves payments to public officials, but that's not been confirmed yet.
Now, certainly some Sun employees have said they're concerned that they're being victimised, that it's all part of a witch hunt.
Well, the good guys must be worried. I mean, what the tragedy of the News of the World was that 200 journalists who were not tainted by phone hacking lost their jobs because of big power plays in the boardroom at News Corp. And there must be a lot of people who work for the Sun, be they journalists or sort of technical staff, who are worried that that will happen to them. What's clear now is that the company are in deeper water. This just isn't about phone hacking now. This goes to the very heart of corporate governance of the company that Rupert Murdoch is chairman of, and who knows what implications that will have on the continents around the globe. You know, they were told that if it is the case that public officials have been bribed in some way, and we don't know that yet, and nobody's been charged with that. But if it is the case, then clearly there are laws in America that the FBI will be interested in testing out on shore. So, you know, there is a heap more trouble being landing on Rupert Murdoch's doorstep when he flies into London for emergency talks later in the week.
Well, the question is just how widespread were these practices?
Well, we don't know. I mean, people were shocked at the number of arrests today, and we honestly don't know. I mean, these people are innocent. They've not been charged with anything yet. They're innocent until proven guilty. So I've got to be careful what I do say, but what I'm pretty certain of is that there will be more arrests in the future at the Sun. And of course, there are question marks about the other newspapers as well. So I don't think the company, as I've seem to say many times before, I don't think the company are near the end of this yet. There is a lot more to come out, and clearly the police have been very thorough in their investigation.
Well, as you mentioned, Rupert Murdoch is on his way to London to lend his support in this crisis. He said he's standing by the paper. It won't close. Do you think it will inevitably close, or should it close?
Well, I would hope he'll be doing more than just standing by people. You know, he's the boss of this company. He's responsible for creating the culture that allowed wrongdoing to happen on News of the World, and, you know, who knows what went on at the Sun. So I hope he would show some contrition when he talks to the staff who will be worried about their futures and worried about where the police investigation is going to go. So what he needs to assure the readers of the Sun and a more concerned British public is that for once he's going to take responsibility for rooting out wrongdoing in his newspapers, and that he gives some assurances that it'll never happen again, and play a leading role in reforming the British newspaper industry so that politicians can be certain that they'll never be having to conduct the kind of investigations that have gone on in Parliament in the last 2 years again.
Now, let me just read you a quote from the former deputy editor of the now defunct News of the World, Paul Connew. And he said, if you have a police force or military or officials in the civil service who are so terrified to have contacts with journalists that it will not serve the public interest, is there a danger that this is what this campaign that you've been leading, and also the subsequent investigation, will lead to, that perhaps journalism will suffer as a result, quality journalism?
I think his statement is completely disingenuous. There is a difference between the traditional role of whistleblowers who serve our democracy by showing showing wrongdoing in the public sector or in government when it goes wrong, and using a free press to report that, and a difference when payments are made to public officials for information. That it completely corrodes the relationship, and we don't know what has gone on at the Sun, but but neither does he. And what he's trying to suggest is that there is a PR campaign to try and suggest that the police investigation has in some way gone too far. Nobody knows that. This is having spent years failing to investigate very clear evidential leads. What we now know is that the police have been very thorough about it, and it would be wrong for people to get the impression that the police are in some way being heavy-handed. They are doing their jobs, investigating evidence that has been provided to them by the News Corps Management and Standards Committee, and I think statements like that are just designed to try and put a question mark over the police inquiry, and that's very unhelpful.
And so, Tom Watson, in your view, is News Corp under Rupert Murdoch, or perhaps more specifically, News International, is it a fit operation to be managing a newspaper in Britain?
On the recent experiences, no. There is a crisis of corporate governance in this company. Rupert Murdoch is responsible for that, and so far he's not proved that he's capable of turning things around.